So you want to read more books? In this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. I will speak from personal experience. 2 years ago, for example, I managed to read more than 50 books in 1 year. But, and this is a big but, in the next year, 2025, I only read 20 books. But this is not, I don't consider that a failure, and this brings me to the first point. Chasing numbers is stupid. I know you have probably seen those videos where, people tell you how to read whatever, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 books per year. And now you want to also be able to read as many books per year because you want to impress your friends on social media, whatever. But the truth is, it's stupid. Reading is about the process. It's not about the books finished. Don't chase artificial numbers, please. Don't do that. There's also this thing called Goodhart's law, and that states if a measure becomes a target, it stops being a good measure. And that's what's happening when you're challenging yourself to reach an artificial number like 50 books per year. You will stop deep reading, will start speed reading, will start skimming books. You will start to choose thinner and easier books instead of going for books that are challenging you. Of course, you're free to do whatever you want to do. So if you want to chase some number, do it. But if you want to improve your reading comprehension, if you want to be able to read challenging books, thicker books, more complicated books, please don't just chase the number of titles you finish in 1 year, because this will bring you nothing. How to build a habit? Well, it helps very much if you do the habit at the same time and the same place in a day, every day. So this way your brain will build connections. And for example, if you have a special chair which you use for reading, your brain will start to associate this chair with reading. So I recommend, for example, that after work, when you come home, then you sit down on this chair and you start your reading ritual for 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever. Important, if you sit down on this chair, never ever touch your phone or do something else. This chair should be reserved for reading. Because, for example, if you're using your phone on this chair, it's very likely that this habit, the habit of using your phone, will override your reading habit, because the phone is much more addictive than your book. So you should avoid the phone on this chair. And this way, as soon as you sit down on this chair, you will feel the urge to grab a book and start reading. How long should you read every day to build a habit? That depends on you and your reading experience. If you haven't touched a book since high school, well, it's not a good idea to start with a 1 hour reading ritual every day, because that will eventually burn you out. It's much better to start small, like with 10 minutes every day. This way you're building your routine, your habit. And of course, after a while, you can expand. It's like in a gym. You're not starting with the highest weights. No, you start small and then build yourself up. Of course, in the gym, you can get hurt. You can hurt yourself. When reading, it's very unlikely that you hurt yourself. But of course, you can burn out. You can lose motivation. So to avoid that, it's much better to start small and build yourself up. And let's assume after finishing your ritual, let's say you have read for 15 minutes, and are you allowed to read more? Of course. So the ritual is just for building the habit. What you're doing outside the ritual, well, that depends on you. You can watch Netflix, or if you feel like that, you can continue reading. Nobody's stopping you. You're a free person. You can do whatever you want. And the next point is read more than one book at the same time. I recommend having one challenging book that is a bit out of your comfort zone, and one easy book that is your safety net. For example, if you had a lot of stress at work or in your personal life, you might not want to touch a challenging book because you don't have the nerves for that. But you can still read the easy book that is in your comfort zone. This way, the easy book is your safety net, something you can rely on when you don't feel like reading. You can still fulfill your reading ritual with that book. I also recommend using different mediums. You can read on paper, on Kindle, ebooks, or audiobooks. And you don't have to choose between mediums. You can use all three. For example, when you have your reading ritual, you can read paper books or ebooks if you prefer that. But then when you're commuting, or when you're going for a walk, or if you're jogging or exercising, whatever, you can listen to audiobooks. So you can use your time more efficiently. But keep in mind, for example, in my case, I'm not sure about you, but in my case, my audio comprehension is not as high as my reading comprehension. So if the book is complicated, technical, if there are a lot of new terms I don't know about, well, I don't like to listen to those books in audio format. I prefer reading. But audio I love for novels or biographies or easier books. Your e-reader, your Kindle, whatever, is also very helpful. When you're traveling, you cannot carry a lot of books with you, but on your Kindle you can have hundreds of books and without the need of additional luggage. And of course, some people prefer e-readers, so that depends on you. Whatever works for you, choose this format. A good thing about Kindle is that you can download the Kindle app. And this way, instead of doom scrolling, you can replace that with doom scrolling on your Kindle. And that's a very good trick to get more reading done. For example, when I'm commuting with the metro, I try always to open the Kindle and read books. And I get a lot of reading done just by using my phone for reading instead of scrolling on social media. Quit bad books. So if you read a book and it's not resonating with you, if you really have a hard time turning the page, maybe it's simply not the right book, or maybe it's at that time it's not the right book. Maybe you need more reading practice to get such a challenging material. In this way, I recommend stop reading and try reading something else. That can make a huge difference, and time is your most precious asset, so you should not waste it on bad books or books where you cannot really make any progress. So here I'm going back to my gym example. You might want to bench press, I'm not sure about the American units, but let's say 100 kilograms. Sorry for using this matrix system, but let's say you want to press as much. If you're a beginner, that's not really possible. So you will probably hurt yourself. And that's the same with a lot of books. So maybe the book isn't bad, but it's just too much challenge for you at that time. So first build up your reading comprehension or get deeper in the topic before you start the challenging book. I'll give you an example. When I was at university, I tried reading Kant. And when I opened the book the first time, I was totally overwhelmed. I had no idea what this guy was talking about. So what I did was first reading more fundamental stuff about philosophy. I tried to learn more about Kant, his ideas, before reading his book. So the next time when I was going back to reading Kant, I had a much easier time and understood a lot more. And the last point, you can get my Notion template that tracks your book progress. This template helps you organize your reading journey in Notion. It shows you which books you have finished, which books you're currently reading, and which books you want to read in the future. This template is available for Notion only, and you can download it for free. Just click on the link in the description of this video. And that were my tips on how to read more. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate your like and follow on YouTube. And if you have any additional tips or questions, feel free to post your comment here. Thank you very much for listening and see you next time. Ciao, ciao.